So as we are from saying, these animal dispersed seeds, they have adaptation that help them to be carried away. So now what are those adaptation, or what are those changes which allow them to be dispersed by animal? So the first change which you can write is that those seeds have what are known as hooks. So they have hooks which or that cling to the animal's fur. So what do we mean? So they have hooks. An example of those seeds which have hooks are blackjacks. So most of us have encountered blackjacks. Those seeds which are black, and whenever you pass in the forest, like they touch your clothes, and you will be able to transport them for a long period of distance. So an example you can say, for example, black jacks, or they have a scientific name which is known as Biden's filosa. So this is a scientific term for seeds with hooks that cling on to animal fur. So that is the first characteristics which can help animals to disperse fruit or seed away from the parent plant. Then the second thing is some fruits have which one have a juicy mesocarp that will attract animals. So this mesocarp attracts what? Animals. So what are those fruits which have a juicy mesocarp? So an example of those fruits with juicy mesocarp that can basically attract animals are, for example, mangoes. So mangoes is one of the examples which has a juicy mesocarp and can attract animals so that they can disperse the fruit. Then the final part, which is the final characteristics, some fruits are scented. So some fruits are scented to attract animals. So some fruits have scents which help them attract animals and help them to be dispersed. So we have talked about three things. Blackjacks, they have hooks which attach themselves to the fur. What do we mean? The fur of an animal, the body of an animal. Then two, they have a juicy mesocarp. They have a juicy outside. The outside looks juicy like mangoes. Then third, they have scents. Some fruits smell nice. That scent can attract animals. So these are the characteristics of fruits or seeds which can be dispersed by animals. So once you write like this, you can get a 4 marks. Now moving on to wind, because the question is asking us animal and wind. That's why you have 8. So each one is 4 mark. So now you can say wind dispersed seeds and fruits have adaptation that makes them light and easy to be carried by the wind. So whenever we're talking about wind dispersed seed, these are seeds which can be carried out by wind. So here, no animal can carry these fruits, only what? Wind. So whenever you think of wind, what should come into your mind is that anything which has to do with wind, it has to be blown away. So what are some of the characteristics which something that can be blown away has? So the first characteristics which you will see is that these seeds which are dispersed by wind have a parachute-like hair which are known as papas. So this increases the surface area and allow the seed to float in air for a longer period so that they can be moved. So what are we saying? So the first characteristic is seeds have parachute like structure which increases the surface area and allows them to float. Yeah, so that is the first thing which you need to understand. Now, what is an example of a seed which has parachute-like structures? So a seed which has parachute-like structures is known as dandelion seeds. So here you can say, for example, we have dandelion seeds. Yeah. So dandelion seeds are one of the seeds which have what? A parachute-like structure known as the pampas. So this parachute-like structure is known as the pampas. It allows the seed to float so that it can move a long distance. Yeah. Then what is the second thing which allows these seeds to be dispersed by air? So the second thing is these seeds are usually small and light. So these seeds are small and light. Making what? Making them easy for wind to carry them. So this is also another characteristics or another adaptation which the seeds have for them to be carried away. Then the final part is that these seeds also have wing-like structures that help them to glide and spin in the wind. So the third part or the third characteristics is that apart from having a parachute-like structure, they also have what? A wing-like structure. So these seeds have a wing-like structure that helps them to glide and spin in the wind. So meaning these flowers or these seeds can slide or spin in the wind, making them travel a longer period. So what are those seeds that can spin in the wind? So we have, for example, we have cyclone. So cyclone seeds are examples of seeds that glide in the air. So how many examples we have given? We have given 3 examples. We have given 4 examples. We have mangoes. We have also blackjacks on animal. Then on wind we have dandelion seeds and also cyclone seeds. So this is an essay which can get you 8 marks in biology. So moving on to our part B, which is explain the importance of fruit and seed dispersal. So now here we are explaining the importance. Why do we need to scatter the seeds away from their parent? So here part B, we are saying the importance. So the first importance is that fruit, so you say that fruit dispersal reduces competition for light, gases, space, and nutrients. So we know that when plants are congested in one place, they will be that fighting for nutrients, gases, oxygen, light, and space. So therefore food dispersal is important in the sense that it reduces that competition by scattering the seeds away from each other. Then the second thing is it also allows plants to colonize new areas. Yeah. So it also allows plants to colonize new areas. We know that when plants is dispersed, that area which that seed will be dropped will be a new area. For example, if a mango was to be transported from here to Kapili, meaning the mango which was here has colonized Kapili as a new what? A new area. So that's the second importance of food dispersal. Now, why is colonization important? This because it also reduces the chances of extinction. So if a lot of plants colonize new areas, it will reduce the chances of extinction, that plant going out of what place. So this is also an important part of fruit dispersal. We say that 1, it reduces the competition for light, gases, space, and nutrient. It also allows plants to colonize new areas. It also reduces the chances of extinction in case the plant in one area get destroyed. So this is the importance of fruit and seed dispersal. Again, I repeat, this question they like repeating it. It is coming from reproduction. Then other topics which you need to focus for your essay part on reproduction are the types of reproduction, which is asexual and sexual reproduction. So whenever you are revising asexual reproduction, make sure you look at the rhizopus. How the rhizopus basically do what? Asexual reproduction. And also look at the amoebas, how they do sexual reproduction. Then we also look at sexual reproduction in man. So here you can talk about sexual feelings. How do sexual feelings come about? Sexual harassment. What is sexual harassment? All these topics you need to revise whenever you are revising the topic of reproduction so that you pass your essay. And don't forget to inbox so that I add you to our first revision academic group where we are helping a lot of students pass and gain confidence towards the 2026 GCE exams.